Ladies and gentlemen, life has a way of testing us, not only through challenges, but also through the voices and opinions of others. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo. From the start of his career, people doubted him, criticized him, and judged his every move. But what made him rise to the top was not just talent or discipline, it was his ability to focus on what really matters and let go of the noise. The truth is, the less you care about the wrong things, the happier and more successful you become. When you live your life constantly chasing approval, you put your happiness in the hands of others. Imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo had built his career waiting for applause or validation. He was doubted from the start, called arrogant, criticized for his style, yet none of that stopped him. Why? Because he wasn't living for approval, he was living for purpose. Too often, we fall into the trap of needing people to clap for us, needing them to recognize our efforts before we recognize them ourselves. That mindset only slows you down, because you're no longer moving for your own growth, you're moving to impress someone else. The truth is, approval is temporary. Today they might cheer, tomorrow they might boo, and if your happiness depends on that, you'll always be at the mercy of others. But when you stop seeking their approval, you gain freedom. You stop stressing over what they think and start focusing on what you know is right for you. That shift changes everything. You become stronger, more confident, and more centered because you are no longer begging for acceptance. You're building yourself from within. Look at any great achiever and you'll notice the same pattern. They don't wait for people to believe in them. They believe in themselves first. When you learn to move forward without constantly checking if others are clapping, you reclaim your time, your peace, and your energy. Approval will come, but it should never be the fuel that drives you. The less you need it, the more unstoppable you become. One of the easiest ways to lose happiness is by falling into the trap of comparison. It's human nature to look at others and measure ourselves against them, but the truth is, comparison rarely motivates. It usually drains us. Cristiano Ronaldo could have looked around and said, there are players with more natural talent, with more opportunities, with more support, and stopped there. But instead, he chose to focus on his own growth. He wasn't competing with the world, he was competing with yesterday's version of himself. That's why he kept rising. When you spend all your energy comparing yourself to others, you overlook your own progress. You might have improved, you might be moving forward, but because someone else is ahead, you fail to see the value in your journey. That's the danger of comparison. It blinds you to your own achievements. Everyone has a different starting point, different strengths and different struggles. Comparing your path to theirs is like comparing apples to oranges. It doesn't make sense because the circumstances aren't the same. What you can control, however, is your growth. When you wake up with the mindset that today you'll be just a little better than yesterday, you build momentum. That momentum compounds. Small improvements in your habits, your skills, your mindset, they add up, and before long you realize you've come further than you ever thought possible. The joy comes not from being better than someone else, but from knowing you are becoming a stronger version of yourself. So let go of constant comparison. Focus on your progress, your journey, your growth. That's where true happiness lies. Because in the end, the only person you need to be better than is the one you were yesterday. Inactivity is something every one of us encounters. No matter who we are or what we aim to achieve, there will always be critics, doubters, and people who seem to find joy in pointing out flaws. Cristiano Ronaldo has faced this throughout his career, whether it's in the media, from rival fans, or even from those who underestimate his abilities. But what sets him apart is not that the negativity disappears, but that he refuses to let it define him. He doesn't waste time feeding it with his attention. Instead, he redirects that energy into his training, his preparation, and his goals. That's a powerful lesson for all of us. Every minute you spend worrying about what someone else said or replaying the criticism in your mind is a minute taken away from building yourself. Negativity thrives when you give it your focus, but it weakens when you ignore it. That doesn't mean you turn a blind eye to constructive feedback. Growth requires listening and adjusting, but it does mean you filter out the noise that serves no purpose. You can't stop people from talking, but you can choose whether their words take root in your heart. The more you practice letting go of negative energy, the lighter and freer you feel. You stop being controlled by anger, by bitterness, or by the need to defend yourself constantly. Instead, you find peace and channel that strength into the things that really matter. Like Ronaldo used the negativity not as a weight holding you back, but as fuel to push harder toward your dreams. The less you care about empty criticism, the more space you create for growth, joy, and resilience. That's when you realize you're stronger than the noise.